Good evening or good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Hoops HD. It is Championship Week Video Notebook day number 5. I'm checking my notes here. Did I get that correct? Fifth day of Championship Week. And we've got
It's dark in here. Chad, the power is out in the bunker again. You need to do something about that. How about letting me out of here?
uh, Griggs. We had video from there earlier today. What we
It,
did, you complaining about quarters. It was definitely you. Stop saying it's a fake video. I don't know.
it was a fake video. You're faking the videos. And the person you're faking them with is saying that they're real.
I'm your host, Chad Shore. We got John Salika, Rocco Miller from Bracketeer.org, Mike Cha, and David Griggs. Sans video tonight, thankfully, maybe. But I'm about to hit the stop recording button instead of the screen share button. That would be a big mistake. This is our Championship Week video notebook. And despite the fact that he has no video, everyone please rest assured David Griggs is safely locked in the puppet bunker.
It's not safe in here. You mean
Safe
safe?
for us. Uh,
Chad, this TV doesn't. I mean, it needs a hanger to work, and you can't get all of the streaming on it.
well, it's kind of like, retro, like 1985 there too,
It is 1985.
See, Puppet, if you had
It
watched
reminds
Married
me of
with
Milton
Children,
Wadham's in Office Space. Remember that when he
I was gonna say, if you'd watched Married with Children back in the day, you would know the Fox viewing position that would have gotten power for your TV.
Let's start with some news and notes, and before we even get to scores, a few pieces here. First of all, huge news out of Chapel Hill. Caleb Wilson breaks his thumb in practice, and he's done for the season. And
It's really unfortunate.
yeah, Mike, that could be. I don't know. They're playing at Duke tomorrow night, so we'll see if they even have anything without him.
Not That's just rough. And I mean, you hate what it does for the team and their season, but you hate to see that happen though. A kid like that, that had a team like that and an opportunity. It's just sad. All kidding aside.
A little good news out of Utah Valley, where the injunction became the next level of the injunction came through. Looks like Utah Valley will be eligible for the WAC tournament. We thought they would be, but
Yeah.
uh, as of right now, the court ruling is in their favor. Hopefully, there's no emergency appeals or anything, but it looks like they'll be in the WAC tournament, which they deserve to be.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
and you know, before we go on to what happened in the men's game, I'm gonna I'm gonna throw this out there quickly. Talk a little women's hoops. Because, well, I don't have it on the screen here, but uh, the Stairway to Seven that we've been following in the Sun Belt, in the women's side, South Alabama, Rocco, 4 for 4, 3 more to go.
Yeah, didn't they play with like three players suspended today?
That was
And
yesterday's game, actually. They were
oh,
down three
see, I'm
players.
the stairway is so big that I get lost on the stairs, Chad. But it's really good to see. Like I can't even see South Alabama anymore because they're so high up the stairway.
They have won 4 games in 4 days, which in 99% of the conferences will absolutely win you the championship. They've still got 3 more to go. They've got a whole conference tournament left to go. But we'll follow the South Alabama
And
women's story.
we have a men's version attempting to chase them on the stairway.
Yeah, but they didn't start all the way at the beginning. They
That's
skipped the
true.
steps.
It's not the true stairway.
We'll get a little back to the stairway in a bit here. Let's go to actual scores here. And Rocco, let me stick with you. The game of the night, the game of the day, maybe even including the conference tournaments, happened in the MAC regular season finale there. Miami, Ohio does it again somehow.
I just think this is an all-timer, Chad. It's bigger than that. I just think it's a game maybe it's because I was grounded for once in my life and I actually just sat in my recliner here and got to just watch a game for what it was. And just knowing all the circumstances around college sports right now, where it's just so hard for a mid-major program to get accepted to the NCAA tournament, everything that was riding on the line, and the way that the game played out, everything about this game was unbelievable. Whether it was the intensity, the 5 technical fouls, the announcer just. I felt like most of the night I was watching the Nathan's hot dog eating contest because the announcer could not calm down. And I do not blame him at all because I was on the edge of my seat, even though I was participating in a mock committee, and I could not take my eyes off this game because the stakes were so high. Ohio made 14 or 15 threes to just continue to go pound for pound with the mighty Red Hawks. And I mean, we had multiple 30-point scores. Jackson Pavletsky for Ohio goes for 37. Peter Suter, 32. There was three or four other guys over 20 points. This game had everything, and all the stakes in the world. It really, with the, I know that Miami, Ohio could probably get some bad press tomorrow because after the game, intensity of the rivalry that Salika knows and loves of the Battle of the Bricks. There were some middle fingers, there were some FUs from Miami, Ohio players to the Ohio students, but that was such an intense environment that I honestly, in a weird way, I'm kind of glad it happened because it really showed for everybody to see the soul of the sport at the mid-major level and how these guys are playing elimination games every night, Chad. If they lose any of these games, the next thing we hear tomorrow is they don't belong, they don't belong. And now for 31 straight game days, they've proven everybody wrong that they can do it every time out, and that's unbelievable.
And this was supposed to be a getaway day for Ohio students because they're going to be on spring break. So, needless to say, they hung around for what was a classic game. Unfortunately, they didn't get the result they wanted.
Now, quick
And
note here: Akron finished off their season with a win. I threw those other two MAC scores up there just because, as a result of those two games, Central Michigan did not get into the MAC tournament. Buffalo did. Central Michigan needed to beat Ball State to do that. But quick look
this
here before we
Akron
go on.
team is really, really good. Miami's getting all the press and deservedly so, understandably so. But I think Akron's just as good as they are. I really do.
Uh, there, a quick look here. It's not signed until Thursday, but if we're going to continue this 31-0, the next step is to be 32, 33, and then 34-0 going to the NCAA tournament. UMass up next year. There's the MAC bracket, by the way.
Miami has to be very happy about how this bracket broke because Akron, Kent State, and OU all on the opposite side of the bracket. Even Buffalo, who gave the Red Hawks a game on the road at Millett Hall. Let's not forget, this was probably, no, this was the second of what was many great escapes for Miami this year because this is one where they had to hit a three-pointer just to get into overtime and then ended up hitting a three that gave them the winning margin in OT back in
Right.
January.
Yeah.
Rocco, I do have a question for you, and I know that it's a hard answer, but my feeling is in the MAC tournament, Miami cannot improve themselves at all because all they would be doing is repeating what they've already accomplished. And I also feel that if they lose, they shouldn't be punished at all because what they didn't really fail to do anything that they hadn't already done. I,
Well, by the
I think
yeah,
Miami is locked into the field.
they're in the field for sure. I totally agree with that last sentence you said. I would just say Akron on a neutral court is a tad better than Akron at home.
Okay, yeah,
They
you're right.
didn't play
Yeah.
them they didn't play them on the road. So it will be their hardest game on the schedule if we get that championship game. And honestly, we've talked about it so many times now, but Miami, Ohio, their goal for the whole season is just to win this tournament. Now, they didn't expect to be 31-0, but here they are. But I think in that locker room, they're just going to let it rip when they get there, especially maybe that early game with UMass would be an opportunity to play with not much resistance. UMass not a good defensive team, and
Not a good offensive team either.
well, don't tell Florida State that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Miami, Ohio is going to be on a mission in this tournament, and Akron that could be a classic game, could be, but I think Miami, Ohio wins it.
Okay, we'll get back this Wednesday night. We got a lot more to cover tonight,
Yeah,
by the
we
way.
Yep.
St. John's went into Seton Hall, got the win. Sliga gets the 1 seed in the Big East tournament. How about that?
How
Well, we
come?
don't know if that's certain yet because this could still depend on where Creighton and Providence finish because
Uh,
I think we did cover this last week where if UConn wins, they get the number one seed if Providence finishes higher,
I,
but
I know the broadcast they say St. John's got the one. Maybe
Yeah,
they
because
were
it's
wrong. I
it's
don't know.
next in standings, and yeah,
Creighton's
Well,
ahead of Providence.
well,
yeah,
oh, that's
we'll
right.
figure that out
Providence can't
tomorrow when we
finish
get the
above.
field.
right. But
Um,
that's why.
yeah. Mike, West Virginia knocks off UCF, and UCF probably still in, but they're watching their seat fall
They're
quickly.
sliding.
Um,
That's
Down.
for
Yeah.
sure.
did what they need to do against Dayton to keep their
Yeah.
at-large hopes
They did
alive.
what St. Louis couldn't do.
Yep.
Win at Dayton.
And San Diego State, if you still
Liberty
think they
did.
are alive, they got the win today. If you don't think they're alive, they have to win the Mountain West tournament anyhow, which is what they probably need to do. But
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
threw it out there. Let's jump to the games, and you know what? Let's start with the conference of the day. It was the Missouri Valley
Oh,
Conference.
Jeez. Almost anti-chalk. It is almost, yeah.
Yeah. We only had one game that was not an upset, and that game went double overtime. Wow.
Valpo's awesome. I love Valpo. I'm
I
so sad they're gone.
yeah.
Sleeka, let me start with you. Let's start with the top here. Drake over Belmont, and it was a blowout.
Well, considering Drake had won the past three tournaments, it seems like their normal time slot, which would have been noontime local time, but only this time they were masquerading as the 9 seed, and they still just basically they were up 7 at halftime, but basically they made a statement coming out of the locker room that they were going to put their foot on the throats of Belmont and just ran away to a 20-point lead about midway through the second half, and that's actually the 11th straight game that the Bulldogs have now won in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament.
Yeah,
Only
so
11
Drake
straight.
was up 7 at the half, and I remember thinking, man, Belmont's having some trouble. This could be a close game. Boy, was I wrong.
This is the first time, believe it or not, the first time that a 9 seed has ever been a 1 in the Missouri Valley. 8s have done it. 9s have never been a 1. So
And
Congrats.
Belmont,
Well, they used to
such a
they used to
bad
only
day to
send
have.
8. They used to only
Okay.
send 8, right?
No, it's always been the whole field. It's always been everybody.
Oh,
that
I
I
think
can remember.
since it was 10, it was 10 teams.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
it was
you-
10 teams. That's right. Okay.
UIC took care of Murray very easily, a Murray team that kind of fell apart late in the season.
That's a
Oh,
I
live
don't-
wire UIC team. That is, Rod Easton has them going.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not a surprising result when you consider the Flames had, what is it, a 6 or 7 game winning streak earlier in the season in the
Mhm.
conference.
It was a little surprising just from the standpoint that Murray swept them during the year, and they were the team that ended that winning streak when they went to Murray. But man, like you guys are saying, UIC's they're the bullies of this league. I mean, they rebound and rim protect, and they found a real diamond in Elijah Crawford, who didn't get to play much at BYU, but he clearly has BYU level talent. He's one of the best assist. He is the best assist guy in the MVC, and he's filling it up. And they have a great inside-outside combo with him running the show.
And what a crazy, like, non-chalky tournament. Northern Iowa blowing out a pretty good Illinois State.
Let's take these in order here first, Griggs. Actually, Mike, the Valpo Bradley game. What a game this was! Valpo
Oh,
two
yeah.
threes down the stretch of regulation to just get to overtime when they were down 6, and Bradley found a way.
Yeah, wouldn't it have been something if Valpo had pulled it off instead of Bradley, then we'd have all, we'd have all lower seeds prevailing and moving on. But you got to give Bradley credit. They fought off a very game Valpo team, and I really thought Valpo was going to pull it off, but no. Bradley pulled away in the second overtime.
And Griggs, as you mentioned, Northern Iowa. This was a game we all predicted Northern Iowa to win. I don't think we predicted for them to win by 22, though.
Right. They were my preseason dark horse to win the tournament. It looks like it may happen, but not in the way that I thought. I don't know if I had it to do again, even though I picked them and even though they look pretty good today. Illinois Chicago, like that Northern Iowa Illinois Chicago final would be something to see.
At this point, Rocco, we got these 2 games tomorrow. I almost think Drake is going to win again because they're just invincible in St. Louis.
We got some clashing styles there, Chad. So it's going to be a whole different ball game because
Yeah.
Belmont loves to run and pass and space and shoot. That was a good opportunity for Drake. Kind of hotter team wins scenario. Drake was clearly hotter. Got Belmont to miss a bunch of shots in certain stretches, and now you get UIC. Like I said earlier, the bullies of the league. When these two teams met most recently, it was an 80-70 win in Des Moines for UIC. And they beat them by 7 in Chicago. So not that it means a lot. Drake's playing with house money right now. They've got the crowd probably a little bit on their side, or at least driving in from Des Moines. UIC is kind of like the unknown commodity, but I think they're embracing that role. I think it should be an excellent game, actually.
It
Um,
should be. I think we're in for a good game in the nightcap too. Bradley, Northern Iowa. Uh, wow, this should be a
yeah.
fun day tomorrow, actually, in the Valley.
And yeah, this has been a fun tournament. I do want to say that I mean Belmont was a team I was big on. I was actually putting them in my own projections as being inside the bubble. And I just one of the things that I made this point, I mean, they picked a very bad day to have a bad day. And you kind of hate to see that a team that was so good for so long and that could have maybe been very competitive and even won a game in the round of 64 isn't going to get that chance.
All right, let's go on. We got a lot more to get to here too. Um, let's jump back to the conference that set up its the first championship game. Ohio Valley. Uh, in the early game, Tennessee State just kind of, I don't even think it was as close as that 13-point final. But the late game was a hell of a game that Moorhead trailed the majority of the game, took a lead with what about a minute left hit there, and some bad fouls by Semo gave Moorhead the victory.
Yeah, I didn't get to like I was paying like everybody, I was paying attention to the Battle of the Bricks and didn't quite get to see most of the Moorhead game, but it looked like early on that it was just a defensive struggle. Both teams kind of defended the paint well, and neither could really get their motor started offensively. It was just sort of a defensive fist fight.
I think one of the other odder stats that we learned from the game, Moorhead is now 11-3 in games decided by 5 points or less. They're not quite as clutch as Miami has been, but Moorhead,
Yeah,
they're going to be
Moorhead's
very
turning into Miami
dangerous.
Light.
Yeah, they're going to be very dangerous if this is a close game in the final 4 minutes tomorrow night.
Yeah, and it's almost like Rocco. I think Tennessee State needs to build out about a 10-point lead and hold it all game because Moorhead will make a run.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it'll be interesting. I mean, contrasting styles a little bit. Tennessee State loves the trapping pressure, and that was why they built such a big lead early and often against UT Martin. The athleticism gap between Tennessee State and the rest of the league is sizable from what we've
Yes.
seen the last 5 weeks or so. They've really turned it on and been able to exploit opponents that way, generating many more field goal attempts in a lot of cases. I didn't look at the box score today, but I mean, that was from my notes pre-tournament, and it clearly showed up today. I mean, so we'll see how Morehead State counters that. Clearly, ball security will be the number one most important thing the Eagles have to focus on to be able to navigate the storms that the Tigers are going to try to generate. And that will be the game within the game. And if Morehead State can get it, like you said, Chad, Morehead State can be in a position in the final 5 minutes to make a move. I think they would sign up for that right now.
I almost think it's a battle for tempo because Tennessee State is so
Yeah.
athletic. They're going to want to push the pace. Moorhead is
Yes.
probably going to want to slow it down. Whoever can get control of the tempo, I don't want to say will win, but will they're going to it's two teams that definitely play differently in contrasting styles.
Let's jump
Correct.
over to the other conference of the day here, maybe the Big South. We started with, actually the High Point not having any trouble with Gardner Webb, but the rest of the day was, wow, just as much fun as any other conference that we saw
Yeah,
out
I
there.
picked Charleston Southern to upset Winthrop, and boy, do I
Should
feel
have happened. Should have happened.
Let's start with that. That was actually, even though it's the third game of the screen, that was the second game of the day, just because the order they play the games here. Uh, Stalika Winthrop was down seven with about 30 seconds left, and with about 20 seconds left, they suddenly had a lead. I mean, it was
Well,
crazy.
Well, earlier on, it looked like Winthrop had taken a second half lead, and probably once you got to about the 7 or 6 minute mark, you're thinking, okay, Winthrop's survived here, but Charleston Southern didn't go down without a fight. And as you pointed out, they had a 97% probability, which would translate to maybe one chance in 40 that Winthrop is able to make that comeback. And they hit a three with about 25 seconds left. They steal inbound pass number one, get a subsequent 3 point play, steal inbound pass number two, and Logan Duncombe, who we thought could have potentially been out with a season ending injury, he gave some valuable minutes for the Eagles, and they do not move on without Duncombe. Let's just leave it at that.
yeah.
They get that win.
Can't believe he played.
Uh, yeah, Mike, UNC Asheville, good close game all the way with Longwood. They found a way in overtime, though.
Yeah, yeah, hard fought game. Could have gone either way. maybe not as dramatic as the Winthrop comeback, but still a heck of a game between the two schools. And UNC Asheville will get the chance to upset High Point tomorrow or today, actually,
But Rocco, you want to talk
in about
dramatic?
10 hours.
Rocco, how about Carl Parrish putting Presbyterian to the semifinals for the first time in school history with that 3 to tie it at the end of regulation?
Well, it's their first Big South tournament win since Dustin Kearns was the coach. So yeah, a couple good stats there. I
They even won one game.
No, they've lost every year in the first game or didn't qualify under Quentin Farrell.
Yeah.
So congrats to Coach Farrell for finally getting off the schneid there. But yeah, the win against Radford. I thought Presby played really, really well in that nationally televised game, the final week against High Point. In fact, I thought they kind of let the game slip.
They did.
Lost by 6, I think, in the end, but they led for a lot of the second half. I was like, you know what? This team's really coming on. Parrish, as you said, Chad, goes for 23 in the ball game, but you had a double-double from Jalen Peterson, 20 and 13, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. I think they're peaking at the right time, and now, they get Winthrop tomorrow. Anything's possible. They played them to a 4-point game without Duncombe on the finale. Now we got to see how much Duncombe can go. I just wanted to point out quickly that Duncombe only played 16 minutes. The guy was unbelievable in 16 minutes to put up 20 points, to grab 11 rebounds, to get 3 assists, and not have any turnovers. I mean, how can you do all that in 16 minutes? This guy is probably
El Cid.
I think he's the most valuable player in all of Under the Radar basketball, not just
Yeah.
the Big South,
I,
because
I,
he changes the game so much.
He's hurt. I mean, he is
He's
not.
playing hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, here's my call on this tournament the rest of the way here. There are 8 games total this tournament. I think we are going to have 5 incredible games. We've already had 4 of them. We'll have one more with that Winthrop Presby game. But I think High Point is gonna win its 2 games the way it did today. And that might be all that she wrote for this league. But
Probably.
It's hard to not. It's hard to disagree with you, Chad. As much as I dislike you and want to disagree with you, High Point is just super talented.
but Winthrop
That's
Presby should be a great game tomorrow.
sad.
I really think.
Yeah.
Let's jump over here. Who wants to go here? Mike, you want to hit this? The ASUN conference where we did not really see much of a competitive game anywhere, I don't think, today.
Well, I seen the bottom half produced semi-competitive games. At least they were within single digits. And
I gotta say, having followed these games here, I don't think that either one of that Austin P or the Queens games were nearly as close as those final scores were. Although it
Okay.
was close for actually Stetson had a lead in the first half. That was an all big Austin P second half. Everything else was kind of a runaway from what I saw today, at
Yeah.
least.
I was, if there isn't much to say here other than I was shocked at how poorly Lipscomb play.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my takeaway. Still a great story, and I know you're getting to this, Chad, but I'm hijacking it because, again, I dislike you. What an exciting semifinal here. Central Arkansas, Austin P, the storylines.
Uh,
Oh, the P.
The
Austin
P
P and
hat.
Stetson. Yeah.
let me ask Stalika, do you have a call on this? The Central Arkansas Gulf Coast Austin P Queens. I think we got 2 really good games coming up tomorrow.
Florida Gulf Coast with under Pat Chambers, they showed some flashes earlier today, but I don't think they're going to be able to repeat it for a second day against a Central Arkansas team that's been on a mission this year, really for the first time since they've made the move up to D1.
All right. Those are the games tomorrow, though. We'll keep an eye on those. Let's jump over to the conference that I was attending, and I believe I'll be going again tomorrow. It's kind of a little bit iffy in some scheduling stuff, but Mary Mac, Sacred Heart. Well, the game was close for about 5 minutes, and then Mary Mac turned on their defense, and that was the end of it because Sacred Heart just kept turning the ball over again and again and again, which was exactly what their coach said going into the game was going to be the key, and they could not control it. The second game between Fairfield and St. Peter's, I'll note here, this is the game that I called. This is the 7-2 upset that I called, Griggs. Yours did not happen. Mine did. And Rocco, I don't know how much you saw of this of the game that I was at here, but this was the Brandon Benjamin show for Fairfield. He was insane tonight.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He's a freshman and he's way too good for this league. I
Which
saw
means he
this.
won't be in it next year, unfortunately.
Right, sadly. But
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing is we got these two games today, and then tomorrow we'll get Marist and Quinnipiac. And I did a MAC triple header back in January, and that's the three matchups I saw. We have the exact same three matchups.
Wow.
So I saw Fairfield play St. Peter's, and St. Peter's won at Fairfield the game I went to. But really good job by Fairfield to really adjust and just lean on Benjamin in the second half. It was 30-30 at half, and the second half was a total wipeout, especially down the stretch. And
The game actually started out 11-0 St. Peter's.
crazy,
And
which is how that's how the Fairfield game started.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Fairfield should have had a lead at the half, but a bad foul and a putback on a missed free throw at the end of the half let it be tied. It was a 10-0 Fairfield run to start the second half too, and that was the end of it. Didn't mean to
Yeah,
cut you off.
sometimes when the first half ends like that, where there's a momentum play to kind of swing it the other direction, you see that all the time where the team that enters halftime with the momentum comes out of the second half feeling great and flip the game. And here's another example. But Benjamin 26 and 15, Chad.
He was insane tonight. I mean, I was just blown away by the way he played this game.
He's
Uh,
good. He's
Once I
really
was gonna
good.
say, once Fairfield got past the 12-minute under 12 timeout, that's when it went from a 4-point lead to they just blew the game wide open.
Yes.
uh, Salika, what do you think? Quinnipiac Maris, Siena Mount St. Mary's tomorrow?
I think Siena is going to be interesting in that they've turned around from what was a very so-and-so first season under Jerry McNamara this year. I believe they've won 20 games. Now, Mount St. Mary's the defending champion, but I do not see them holding the belt for a second straight year. I could probably see both Quinnipiac and Siena moving on, and
Well, here's
I
the
think I
thing.
did.
Antonio Chandler is had the eligibility problems. He's officially out for because of the eligibility issues for Siena. So I'm going with the Mount in that game.
What about hey Chad, you got an update for us on K-Bay for Mount St. Mary's? Their big guy?
I do not actually.
Okay, yeah, watch his status. I think he's questionable. He's missed the last 8 games. So, but I heard he's gonna maybe try to go.
Yeah, I thought I heard he was playing this weekend, but I did not hear anything new today. But Siena will be shorthanded. I think we'll have.
Yes.
I think the Quinnipiac Barris game will be a real good one, though.
Yeah, Amari Monroe in that game has been cleared to play. I think Schofield for Marist is the one to watch. He's missed the last couple games. Got
Mike,
injuries all over your tournament, Chad.
Yeah.
there are, and that's why I like
Stop
Fairfield.
injuring people,
Fairfield's
Chad.
one of the few teams that's really Fairfield and Merrimack are the two healthiest teams, and that's why beginning Rocco, I picked Merrimack over
That's a good
Fairfield in the
point.
championship game.
We might get there, one win away
Yeah.
Uh,
each.
Mike, Summit League today we saw Omaha blow out South Dakota and North Dakota blow out Denver in the last two quarterfinals.
Yeah, this is similar. Was it the Metro Atlantic where Chalk prevailed, but then the five beat the four by a large margin?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Looks
it
similar,
was.
but
Yeah, we really haven't had competitive basketball honestly yet in the Summit League, which is normally a
maybe not
really
Metro
fun
Atlantic, but the
tournament.
conference
Yeah.
before that. But yeah, 1-5-2-3.
Yeah, people in Sioux Falls want their money back. Good God.
Yikes.
This may be the first time that I can recall the Summit League tournament not featuring a team from South Dakota in the semifinals or
Oh,
beyond.
that's right.
Yeah,
But I'm hoping
it's
for a
gotta
North
be.
Dakota. I'm hoping for an all North Dakota final, and that's
Yeah.
very possible.
That would
What
be
did
kind of
Rocco call
fun.
that? The Flicker Tail State rivalry?
Yes, it is the Flicker Tail State.
Yeah.
I will say this with 11 minutes to go tonight, we had a 44-44 tie between South Dakota and Omaha. They were seesaw for a good almost 30 minutes, and then Omaha just went on a huge run late to make that look ugly. But it was mostly a good battle.
I quite honestly think we may see two ugly games again tomorrow. I think we're going to end up with Chalk
I,
holding into the championship here.
I think you're right, but I think that as much as I agree with Mike, like the North Dakota State rivalry would be a fun final. I think St. Thomas, North Dakota State is infinitely more fun.
Hmm.
And I got to just say this since Omaha's played their way into the semis. I love that they're in the Summit League, like real mountainous place, Omaha.
Yeah, Omaha and St.
So,
Thomas did split the season series.
yeah.
And so that could be interesting. Then the Flicker Tail game, obviously North Dakota, they got them when they came to Grand Forks. So I don't know. I think these could be a couple of good games.
You do?
Oh, actually, we got
You're
North.
typically right about these things, but
Oh, well, I have the matchups wrong, so that might be part of the problem. North Dakota's
yeah.
playing St. Thomas, but North
Right.
Dakota,
Right.
they're the only team to win at St. Thomas this year.
They did
So
win at St. Thomas, but I
yeah,
think I think the
81-80 on a
Tommys.
They
miracle,
did.
the
Yeah, I
miracle
forgot about
steal and
that. Yeah.
three-pointer. Yeah, that was that
So
game.
And
St.
that was a
Thomas's first time
tactical
they're
error
eligible,
because
aren't
now
they?
St. Thomas is very
Yeah.
angry and they're going to kill him tomorrow.
That's
Yeah.
very possible.
Yeah.
But North Dakota State versus Omaha, just wanted to remind everybody that North Dakota State was the better team. You guys are right.
Mhm.
And isn't
Now
this
to
the first?
answer, I was
Oh,
gonna
isn't
say
this
to
the
answer
first season that
Mike's.
St. Thomas is eligible?
We're moving
It
on.
is, yes, Mike. Yes, it is,
Okay.
Mike.
Gee, what
Music's
conference are we
playing.
going to next?
We're going to the Stairway to Seven.
Hmm.
So peaceful.
I
And
feel
you
like
know
Chad's.
what?
I feel like Chad's at the dive bar right now.
That's where I'm
Uh,
at.
Briggs, double upsets in the Stairway today. Both teams that won Thursday came back and won, and now Georgia Southern has won 3 straight games.
Yes, and they were double upsets, and to me anyway, they were double surprises. I really thought Texas State and South Alabama had solid years and were good teams. I actually thought South Alabama might get hot and win the conference tournament, and here they are out to Georgia Southern. Now, Southern Miss has had a like unspectacular year, but they've played really well in this tournament. And I don't think they beat App State tomorrow, but I don't think it's impossible either.
We had that crazy 6-way tie for second place, and 2 of the
Yeah,
last 6 teams here were not even part of that tie. Southern Miss and Georgia Southern. We've
right.
seen 3 of those 6 teams already fall. Arkansas State, South Alabama, and Texas State all fall already.
Yeah. And I is Georgia Southern has played well in this tournament. I think Coastal blows them up tomorrow. But I don't know. Southern Miss might be able to stay with App State and pull off yet another upset.
Well, Tyler Weeks had 32 points for Southern Miss today. He has another game like that. They could take down one of Salika's favorite teams in App State.
Oh no, no. Oh,
Rocco, you got a call for us in these games? Is it going to continue for the 8 and the 10 seeds?
Whew. Yeah, it'll be fascinating. So Georgia Southern and Coastal, I'll start there. They played twice this year. Both times went to overtime, and they split 1-1. So I think we're in for a possible wild one. We'll see what Georgia Southern's legs are like in their fourth contest. Southern Miss, I think it should be pointed out that since they got Isaac Tavares back, he's a key player in the way they run their offense, and he's one of their better defenders. They're 6-2 since he came back. Much better team with him in the fold. Obviously, freeing up guys like Tyleek Weeks to go off. Big part of what they're trying to get done there, and that gives them a puncher's chance with App State. App State played them last time in Hattiesburg and got the win, but that was when Tavares was still out. So fascinating matchup in that one. Hard to predict. If App State can get out of there, I love their matchup with Troy. We saw them really put Troy into a pretzel the only time they played, holding Troy to 44 points. But the question on the stairway to seven is, can you get to that next stair, Chad?
It is, and I'm really, I've liked this Coastal Carolina team all season. I think they are set up primed now with a tired
They
team.
are. They're my
They,
sleeper
they,
pick,
they
actually.
can rest, they can take down Marshall, and then see what happens in the championship game.
They have a very clutch player down the stretch that's been making big shots. Joshua Beadle, he's an all-conference player. Look for him to ice games with free throws or ball in his hands if they get another really tight game with Georgia Southern tomorrow or other games in this tournament.
Is
Uh,
Coastal Carolina a running style team, up tempo team?
They are medium tempo.
Okay, because if I'm them, I would try to push the ball at every opportunity because Georgia Southern's this is going to be their
True,
fourth game, whereas Coastal
true.
Carolina they're going to be fresh.
Good point. But they're very elite defending 2-point and effective field goals. So Georgia Southern's a big time catch and shoot team. They like to orchestrate through passing, less dribbling, and Coastal's probably going to have them well defended.
West Coast Conference games. Portland beat Washington State. Seattle won a close, tight one over San Diego today.
It's shocking that that was close.
But I mean, the big thing here with these games is when you look ahead in the bracket, these are probably two of the most meaningless games we're going to see in championship week, other than the two games that were played on Thursday. But the games are played. Washington State's time in the West Coast is done and over with.
Unbelievable.
And Seattle gets their first ever WCC tournament win. So there's some congrats to go around there, right?
Yeah, first
That was
ever
nice.
WCC tournament game.
Are we sure that wasn't a spring training win by the Mariners over the Padres?
That'd be called the Eddie Vedder Cup, by the way. There's a trophy.
Old
We have-
We have
AFC West
trophies for
matchup.
everything. We have trophies for everything. Now we have a Seattle San Diego trophy coming next year, thanks to you, John.
We have Griggs. We have a San Francisco Portland game tomorrow, which I think San Francisco probably wins.
Yeah.
And a Pacific Seattle game that I was looking forward to when we saw this bracket actually.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to that more than San Francisco, Portland. Portland, while they had that moment against Gonzaga, they had a great moment and they had hours of not greatness throughout the year. San Francisco, a little bit underwhelming, but their pieces are their pieces and their talent is their talent. And you got to kind of wonder, they've got Portland, they've got Oregon State, and they get in there against Gonzaga after two winnable games. Can they finally pull it together and make some noise and finally play up to their ceiling, or do they just pee down their legs and maybe not even get past Portland? This was a team we were championing. It is an at-large caliber team before the season started. Remember?
They were.
Yeah.
CAA was opening. Ooh, we don't have there it is. CAA opening round. Northeastern beat North Carolina A&T in another fairly meaningless game at the end of the day. This game really wasn't close, but I think the more important thing, Mike, let me ask you as we look forward to Saturday's games, we get into the second round here with Stony Brook Campbell, Drexel Northeastern, Towson Hampton, William Mary Elon. What are you looking for here to hear
Yeah, I had
tomorrow?
that board look just a second ago. I did that on purpose because like that, the today's game just didn't move the arrow for me. But yeah, as you alluded to, yeah, that today's action should be a lot better. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there was at least one upset. If I had to pick one, I would pick Elon over William and Mary. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
That's the upset UNC Wilmington is very much pulling for.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Rocco, I kind of agree with him. I think that's the game I'm circling here of these four tomorrow for potential upsets, at least seeding wise.
You talking about Elon and William and Mary?
Elon over William and Mary.
Yeah, well, Elon beat him twice during the year, so it's
Yeah.
not the matchup William and Mary wanted, I'll tell you that much. But, DeMarco Johnson's been out. We'll see if he comes back for Elon. And Elon lost four in a row, including a home game, to now eliminated North Carolina A&T by 20. So
Mhm.
they are playing their worst basketball of the year right now. So that could be good news for the tribe. In fact, in Elon's last 10 games of the season, their two wins over William and Mary are their only two wins. They went 2-8 down the stretch. So we'll see if it's a matchup thing or if Elon is done for. I also did want to actually give Northeastern a shout out because there's a better chance than 50-50 that this is Bill Cohen's last year
Mhm.
and likely to retire after this tournament. So to snap a 12-game losing streak today probably meant a lot to taste victory one more time, get to stay in DC an extra day. And Drexel, out of all the teams with buys, they might have a fighting chance against Drexel tomorrow.
I actually think Drexel's been playing a little better ball recently, and they got all the way up to that fifth seed. And I actually think Drexel could give Monmouth a game in the quarters, so we'll see.
I
Oh,
kind of
absolutely. Yeah.
I kind of hate that the CAA does this format instead of the old Big East quintuple header format.
They could
Uh,
have done a stairway.
Yeah,
mhm.
Would you like that?
There we
I'd
go.
actually
So,
prefer a quintuple header, one session, 5 games.
That's
Salika,
like the
last conference
Horizon.
that was in action today. UNC Greensboro crushed VMI in the late game, but we had a pretty good one between Chattanooga and Citadel early on with the Citadel getting a victory.
Well, the Citadel had had some of their moments during the regular season, and now they were able to translate that into at least one postseason victory right here. it's not out of the realm of possibility they could pull off a even bigger stunner tomorrow or later today against East Tennessee State because the Buccaneers have been kind of hitting cruise control, not been their sharpest going down the stretch.
Yeah, Sola Debsey, I believe, if I pronounced it correctly, hit the three with about 10 seconds left to give Citadel this win here. So good win for the Citadel to move on to play East Tennessee State.
It's going to
Griggs,
be tough tomorrow.
I don't know that the Citadel's going to take East Tennessee State. What about the other three games here? Western Carolina, Mercer, Wofford, Greensboro, Samford, and Furman.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking what you think about them. Yep.
Oh yeah, I Sanford and Furman. I think Furman's was a team with a lot of potential that had some issues. But Sanford finished the year red hot. That's the game that sort of jumps out at me the most. I think Wofford's a really good story because of all of their offseason, all the tumult that they went through. Mercer is my pick to win it all. So hopefully, or
Woo.
win not at all, but win the SoCon tournament. Hopefully, they win that one.
Okay.
Well,
Which is why
Western Carolina, Chad, we got to give them a shout
they're
out.
my pick to make the finals. Rocco, go ahead.
They've won six in a row. They beat Mercer the last week of the season. Now we get the rematch, and should be fascinating. They've also done it with two players out, so I don't know if those guys are back tomorrow or not. But
And they
uh,
swept East Tennessee State on the season if they get them
yep,
next.
yep, exactly. So I've always had a ton of respect for Tim Kraft. He did a great job. I thought at a hard job. That's Gardner Webb. If you don't think Gardner Webb's a hard job, just take a look at what they did this year without Tim Kraft.
I'm also waiting to see what happens on Sunday when the Greater Asheville Ford dealers sponsor the Wofford Samford matchup. I thought I
Salika,
would get
I'll
crickets
go
for
to you
that one.
anyhow. Even though the OVC is the first championship game tomorrow night, they may be the second bid given out because if Mercyhurst wins at home over Stonehill in the noon game in the NEC semifinals, the winner of the LIU Wagner game at 2 clinches the automatic bid. Should Stonehill get the
And th
upset, they'll go to Tuesday's game to decide the auto bid.
and that will happen because the NEC actually reseeded right here. Otherwise, we would have had, I think, Mercyhurst and Wagner on one half, and then Long Island and Stonehill. Well, you still would have pretty much the same effect right here. But Mercyhurst also going to be playing with a little bit of house money themselves here. I still think Stonehill and Long Island are probably going to end up making it to the title game.
Yeah, I think this is Mercyhurst is a great story here. They have a shot to win a tournament. Because I want Tuesday's game to mean something, that's why I'm rooting for Stonehill. That's probably the only reason I'm rooting for Stonehill in that first game. Uh, and quite frankly, Griggs, I think LAU is going to crush Wagner in the two
I,
o'clock.
I do too. They really had to sweat Chicago State. I mean, that was a great effort by Chicago State, but sometimes for a team like Long Island, that may have kind of shaken them awake.
Uh, let's go on to the America East. Rocco, it is quarterfinal day in the America East tomorrow. New Hampshire's at UMBC, Albany's at Lowell, Bryant's at Vermont, Maine is at NJIT. Let's start with the question. Anything you see in these four games? Any potential road teams winning?
Ooh. Albany, perhaps, or Maine, perhaps. We'll start with Albany. I think I was impressed. They were the first team to really slow down the NJIT train, and they really sent NJIT spiraling after that, four straight losses. But Albany themselves couldn't find that magic, losing back-to-back games after that, and then losing again. They squeezed in a New Hampshire win, like everybody gets late. So we'll see. I mean, Amir Lindsey's a really good player. I like him. They've got a couple injuries they're fighting. We'll see how that shakes out. UMass Lowell's been up and down, just like Albany. The game happens to be in Lowell based on the way the final standings broke. But Austin Green, I think, will be out again, and it should be a pretty much a 50-50 game. So if you get an upset, that's a good spot. And then with just the major struggles of NJIT down the stretch, that gives Maine some hope. But Maine was not one of the teams to be able to beat them. They lost to NJIT last time by 9. Beat them on the road, actually, back when NJIT early in the year before they got rolling. So split the series at least. TJ Beal been injured. That's probably their best player. So I again just a league with not a ton of talent, and then some of the talent that is there is injured, and it's just yeah. I think overall, Chad, it's UMBC's year.
I agree with you there. I think I'm almost looking at the Bryant Vermont. I think Vermont is a way better team than Bryant, but the way Vermont has just kept playing
Yeah.
down to their competition all season would not shock me if Vermont actually got knocked down in the first round tomorrow in a big upset. But I agree with you, UMBC to win this league. Stalika, what do you think? UMBC win this tournament?
I think Vermont would love to have a chance to serve revenge, as we've often heard revenge being a dish that is best served cold. Vermont actually potentially getting to go into UMBC's house to pull off the return from, was it 2019? I probably will go with the Catamounts to end up winning the tournament here because uneasy lies the head that wears the crown when it comes to UMBC here.
All right, all right. One more pretty quickly. Griggs, who wins the America East?
UMBC. Because I checked this before we went on the air, and it turns out Vermont is not a predetermined site. It just always seemed to think that that's where the championship game was. I think
Okay.
UMBC they have the easiest quarterfinal game. I think they win the tournament.
Mike, one other conference getting underway tomorrow. It is opening round day in the Big Sky. We have yes, that's 9 versus 10, Idaho State, Northern Arizona, and 7 versus 8, Idaho, Sacramento State. Uh, Give us some deep insights into these two games.
Uh,
Yes, I am joking.
yeah, the winner will get the honor of again of losing to Portland State. Portland State came on strong to nab the number one seed.
Yeah, Portland State faltered a little bit down the stretch here, Rocco, and I'm not
Oh, okay.
certain that I think Portland State's going to win this conference tournament at this point.
Yes. Sorry, Chad. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, I just asked you who do you think is going to win the Big Sky?
Northern Colorado is my pick. From the
Mine
five
too.
seed spot, they finished 8-1 down the stretch. Started 1-7. They have three awesome players. For Steve Smiley, it's a lifetime achievement award. It's amazing he hasn't broke through and gotten a bid yet. He's done such a phenomenal job since he's gotten to Greeley. I think this is finally the year. I like what Eastern Washington did down the stretch, but they're very 3-point reliant. For them to get hot like that for three straight nights, or I guess at least 3 out of 4 straight nights, is maybe a bridge too far for the Eagles. But I'm going Northern Colorado. I'm pretty convicted. They just beat Montana by about 30, and maybe they won't beat them as bad in this first game, but Portland State, man, they were kind of like a Major League Baseball team trying to clinch their division for a week and kept losing over and over again. They finally clinched it on the last day. So I just don't like the form that Portland State's in coming into this tournament.
Yeah, I like, by the way, I like both Idaho schools to win tomorrow, but Stalika, I think I kind of like Rocco's pick here. Northern Colorado over Eastern Washington in the championship game, and we
Be
know
a
what
great
that
game.
matchup is.
I know we want to see the Nokoiwu Cup here, but Montana State, they seem to have a
Oh,
knack for, if not winning the title game, at least getting to the title game, or at least one team from the state of Montana should be guaranteed to reach the championship game right here. But I probably will go with the Bobcats as my pick here.
I do want to say
oh,
this about this tournament. Whoever wins it will win a banner. That's what you do when you win a conference championship, but they won't win the they won't hang the right one. The right one should declare them the Starch Madness champs. And Hoops HD might have to create a banner and send it to them.
I might have one. I don't know. We'll have to take a look. That is Starch Madness.
It's Starch Madness.
Don't they
Yes.
dump fries on the coach that wins?
They do, I think.
That might be the Potato Bowl. I don't know.
Well,
That's
Actually, one other thing just occurred to me. This is being played in Boise. Why is
Yeah.
Montana Tech not invited to this tournament?
Why is Where's
that's
Hawaii
it.
Pacific? Shouldn't Hawaii Pacific be invited?
We're moving on to the survival board, guys. It's late. Um, this is our survival board from up there on the website. It tracks how many teams are left with the chance to win and has them in various categories. Heading into the day today, we had 295 teams left with a chance to win. As a result of today's action, 270. And
Wow.
actually, it became 269 after we started this show as
S-
Seattle's
San
victory
Diego.
over San Diego. So 269 teams left. The shot to win it all. And Griggs, can you explain to people what these various different color codings here are?
Yeah, so you see a couple well, a few different colors here. Essentially teams are in four categories. One is auto bid clincher, which no one has clinched yet. We will be putting a team in bold and all caps tomorrow, because the OVC winner will have clinched. The other is a lock. This means that this team can lose all of their remaining games and they will still make the NCAA tournament. The third category that I'm going to mention is this team can win all their remaining games, but it doesn't matter. They have to win the auto bid to get in. And then the fourth category, and this is the category I know, Chad, the committee hounds you about this. The selection committee, those are the teams that the committee actually has to talk about.
Right. So, example, so if the committee comes on here, they're not sure what to do about Alabama. They see they're
Right.
a lot that tells them,
Yeah, they need to select them. And the selection committee, we know they're watching tonight, and they're athletic directors and conference commissioners, and these are busy people. When you're an athletic director, you have to make sure that there's enough coffee in the office. You have to make sure there's enough pens and pencils. You have to make sure that the printers and copiers are full of paper. You don't have time to watch a lot of basketball.
Griggs, what if a committee member came in here and was thinking about giving an at-large bid to New Orleans and sees them in the auto bid only column? What does that tell them?
Well, I mean, you might think that like they may have seen New Orleans play and they played a good game. I think they beat TCU and they're like,
They
well, my
did.
goodness, like this is a good team. We need to take them. But again, these are busy people. They had not watched New Orleans all year. They would come to this board and realize, oh no, we can't select New Orleans.
But if they're talking about Auburn and they come to this board, we're not going to do that. That's a big debate. I think a lot of people are going to have the next couple of weeks, right? Next couple
Right. And they're going, and I know that they call you. I know that they text you, email you, and you stick firm to this. No, you all have to decide whether to take Auburn or not.
weeks. All right. Let's talk a little about the Griggs AI machine here, Griggs. This is your AI that I spent
Yes,
$700 on.
Briggs AI. I gotta say, Chad, I'm very disappointed in the sales, and I don't think you're presenting this in the proper light.
Well, what I'm trying to do here is feed questions into it to show everybody that it's a good investment because I'm already invested $700 plus like five questions, like $735 already. But what I did was I went to another AI engine. I plugged another question in. Today's question I typed in: if the NCAA tournament were to expand, do you think CBS will continue to air it, or would ESPN maybe put a bid in for it?
That's
And
a basketball related question. Yeah, that's a good question.
there's been a lot of talk about expansion. Where would we watch the games? And actually, what the other AI engine told us was that the CBS deal is locked in through 2032. So it wouldn't be until after then that ESPN could even make a bid on it. I thought that would sound like a good answer, right?
Yeah, and in 2032, will CBS and Turner continue to put in bids to host the tournament? Will ESPN to get it from? This is a really interesting question. I think it's heavy on a lot of people's minds because they want to know who's going to host the tournament and how much they're paying for it.
And we're still trying to figure out what the abandon it button does, but we're going to figure that out one of these
Yeah.
days. It still isn't working. But I typed in, so let's like the same question in here. Let's see if it can calculate out an answer for us.
Yes, this is the Griggs AI.
The answer is the University of Massachusetts.
Huh?
It all comes back to Angry Frank.
So,
Griggs?
so you asked it. Um,
That's your answer? UMass.
we're still working through some of the programming glitches.
All right, I think we got to get rid of this thing here. Let's go to final thoughts here. Mike, let me let you start off.
Yeah, wow, what a day today. A lot of upsets, especially in Missouri Valley. Just talk about a conference that got turned upside down. But the thing is, from what I understand, number one seeds, they just, they're cursed. They just generally do not do well in the in this tournament. So, um, yeah, a lot of good action, and congratulations to Miami of Ohio for their undefeated season. And I think that I mean, not that they should lose to UMass, but I think they're all but assured a bid in the NCAA tournament. If they do falter, then they'll likely will be sent to Dayton. But congratulations to the Miami of Ohio, 31-0. I mean, no matter what conference you're in, that's quite an accomplishment. So this is only the beginning of what a great day of action. And I'm looking forward to a lot more days of great action and upsets.
Right. Stalika.
I know Chad mentioned some of the legal action going on in the WAC. I'm surprised Conference USA wasn't mentioned because Louisiana Tech basically has one foot out the door and they tried to get an injunction where Conference USA couldn't release any schedules with Louisiana Tech mentioned. So Conference USA had the perfect answer. It's like, okay, we'll go ahead and release a conference tournament without, wait for it, the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs
Well,
mentioned.
not quite that. That's yeah, but it was the court filing by the Conference USA in response to Louisiana Tech lawsuit to try to get out of Conference USA at the end of this season, which is still a big battle. The Louisiana Tech actually requested an injunction barring the conference from releasing schedules with them on it. The response was, well, if we do that, we can't release the conference tournament brackets with you in it for next week. So we'll see if that goes anywhere. I don't think it will, but it was kind of a funny argument. Rocco.
Yeah, big day tomorrow. We'll look ahead here just a little bit, but here in the conference tournament world, I don't think it gets much bigger than Northern Iowa against Bradley. Ben Jacobson and Brian Wardle, the only two coaches in the league with the experience to win Arch Madness, and now they get to go head to head. One of them will get to the finals. One of them will, I hopefully get to the NIT. That will be determined later. But that's just huge. And on the other side, of course. Two big time sleepers. Drake coming in on a 9 game losing streak, getting hot behind Jaden Quinn and Owen Larson. Nothing to lose, like we said earlier. In UIC, the bullies, the unknown commodities of the Missouri Valley tradition. So exciting to have one game of just great tradition with the coaches and another game of just super surprising teams. Awesome stuff at Arch Madness. Seattle versus Pacific, just a quick nugget there. It's gonna be so late, half the people watching won't even watch it, but I think those are my two dark horses. If anybody really makes some noise in the WCC tournament, probably won't happen, but very curious to see who comes out of there. And then it's a huge day outside of that on the bubble where teams are just playing an abnormal amount of big games. For this season, Auburn has a game at Alabama that virtually determines their season. A win and they're dancing, most likely. A loss and they're almost certainly not dancing. Indiana playing Ohio State. You have SMU trying to get a life raft at Florida State. You have New Mexico going to Utah State. We got Virginia Tech going to Virginia. California looking to get some decent road win at Wake Forest. You have Oklahoma State hosting Houston. Cincinnati going to TCU trying to get that Jizzle James case brewing.
That's a big one.
And then last but not least, Arizona State. I know it's a less than 10% chance, but if they win at Hilton Magic, we're going to really have to discuss the Sun Devils on the bracket show. So,
Why?
I mean, I think it's just, I can't remember one or 2 days. I know maybe one or two of those are on Sunday, but I can't remember that many opportunities for the bubble to make a huge splash on the last day of the season.
Here's my problem with the Jizzle James argument, though. They still lost both games against West Virginia with James in the lineup, and not to mention they still had the slow start in Big 12 play when he was still a part of the team. I mean, you could make that excuse as far as Eastern Michigan, but it's an extremely slippery slope.
Agreed. I'm not all the way where Joby is. If you've been reading Joby's emails, those have been a little too far for me. But hey, if they win at TCU tomorrow, you gotta
You
play
gotta
the
look
game.
at them.
You gotta
Yeah,
look
The
at
Horned
them.
Frogs are actually in a position to throw him a life raft, as odd as it sounds.
Just a quick note here. We have 10 conferences. There's 12 conferences left still playing regular season play. 10 of the 12 finish up tomorrow. There'll be a lot of new brackets on the site as well. Just the American and the Big Ten will finish up on Sunday. But Briggs, you want to finish off the show here?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Florida Gulf Coast for a minute and like how they're. Yeah, I mean, this would be like, I think I can help this program. They've played their way into the semifinals. And I think that me being someone that cares about student athletes, that cares about players, I think that I can go to where they are, which is close to the beach, and make sure that student athletes enjoy themselves and that students enjoy themselves. You could give me some campus housing right on the beach. You could give me a modest expense account, and I could make a world of difference for that program.
For Gulf Coast.
Yes.
Okay. I, I think it's very late, Griggs, because I'm totally lost on what you're talking about, honestly. So I'm lost. Let's go ahead and get back in the public bunker.
Why?
That's it for this video notebook. We'll be back at some hour, probably not as late as tonight, tomorrow night. But on behalf of John Salika, Mike Cha, David Griggs, Rocco Miller from Bracketeer.org, I'm Chad Sherwood. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again sometime tomorrow night.